Yeah, no, we're happy to do it, and at the end of the day, what we've done has helped keep our community safer. The fact of the matter is, if we had embraced a lot of what was happening over the last few years, if we had attacked law enforcement, cut budgets, and all that stuff, you would have had way more crime. That's just the reality. And it would have ended up spiraling out of control like it is in so many of these parts of the country. And so these things really do matter. It matters to be able to support folks who are wearing the uniform. It matters that you hold offenders accountable and actually put them in prison when they do things and not just release them back on the street so they can victimize other people. So we've been right on that. We're going to continue to be right on that. But it's not just a kind of an esoteric debate. I mean, how those policies shake out have the impact about whether people feel safe in their communities or not. And, you know, they talk about people moving to Florida. And I've always said, like some governors like begging people to come to their state. Like, I'm happy with who we have. I'm not asking anyone to come. But I will say that people that come, if you talk to some of these real estate agents, they'll say, people aren't even talking about the taxes because we've always had lower taxes. That's not anything new. You know, they will talk about being a free state, some of these other things. But one of the things they always talk about is feeling safe. They feel safer in Florida than they feel in some of these other areas that have really gone downhill from there. Yes, ma'am. One more. Right. Well, look, I mean, this is an official announcement, but I would just say that you do have individual candidates have websites and stuff, and you can do that. You don't have to do it through a central party thing. Yep. Yeah. That's right. Well, I think so. The question is, so you know, we do phosphate production here in the state of Florida, not that far from here actually, and it's an important industry. What's happening is the cost of fuel is going up so much that it's driving things like ammonia through the roof. And so it had been pretty constant for years and years and years what the fertilizer producers would end up doing. Now it's spiked. I mean, it's not just gone up like 20%. I mean, it's like quadrupled. It is unbelievable. And so what people are saying, and this is a global market, it's not anything that certainly one state could control, but even one country perhaps. But what they're saying is you know, the increase in that is going to cause the fertilizer to go even higher, and it is going to make it so that you're not able to harvest all the food that we're traditionally used to harvesting. Now, will that mean shortages here in the United States? You know, it could, but I think the people that are going to be hit most by this are going to be people that are very poor in third world countries. And so think about it. You know, you have John Kerry and Biden and saying no fossil fuels. This is so bad. They're trying to kneecap the industry. They're contributing to the spike, you know, in prices. And the result may be, if this comes to pass, you know, it's going to be a lot of people who aren't even going to be able to access enough food for subsistence, and that's going to be very devastating. But it will be a predictable consequence about what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do to say that we should just use windmill and solar. Like, look, Florida, we have a lot of solar, and we're fine with that. I mean, you know, people are able to do it, but that is not enough to power a nation like ours, or a global economy with all the other things going on in other parts of the world. Now, one of the things I think the lesson from COVID and some of the stuff we're seeing now is, you know, maybe we need less reliance on some of the stuff being produced overseas, and we need to produce more of it here in the United States. But be that as it may, the reality is that, this stuff's coming from all over the world that go into this, and you're seeing some disruption. So, look, I don't want to be alarmist about it, but I mean, you talk to people that know, and people are very concerned about what could happen going into the future, and some of it will obviously impact us. I mean, as much as COVID, there was some stuff. I mean, there was no toilet paper, some of the stuff, whatever. Now Biden, they really screwed up with that baby formula plant that they shut down and just kind of let it sit there without it. So that's caused this big baby formula shortage, which has been really difficult for a lot of mothers. I mean, we have young kids, so we are very sensitive, my wife and I, but, when babies are crying and they're hungry and not every woman can breastfeed, so it is something that's really, really significant. It causes a lot of stress if you don't have that in the house. So that's been a disaster. But now we're facing potentially having broader shortages of a lot of different stuff. And I can tell you, I'm, 43, I've not lived through that as an American, and yet you could potentially be seeing that. So that's a huge, huge problem. And I think what's going to happen with some of the stuff going beyond that in these poorer countries, you can see some really, really big time problems. And so it didn't need to be this way, obviously, yet here we are. And in Florida, what we've tried to do is be part of the solution. So we, for example, have increased the stuff coming into our ports significantly over the past 6 months. You saw these ships just sitting there in Long Beach and in the West Coast. We actually had a company from Singapore. They had their company in Long Beach, their American company. They moved it to Jacksonville, the port of Jacksonville, because they saw what was happening. We've done other things. So okay, that's my hook. I wish I could say that's my hook. I got to stay on schedule, but we will be back soon to Pinellas County, and Madeira Beach is a phenomenal place. I'll tell you, you could do so much worse if you're coming to visit and you want a beautiful place to be. So thank you all. God bless. Yep.